I'm going to go over a few nuclear tickers on the 5-minute time frame and give you some price targets for Monday. First up is LTBR. We ended the day at $6.54, up a whopping 13.74%. This is where we are to the north side, takes us to roughly 689 and another level of resistance and a potential take profit area, as well as 717 at 4 standard deviations. To the south side, VWAP is in blue at 651. To the south side of that takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline, and one level of support at 601. Below that, 643. 516 and roughly 487. The last time I talked about this ticker, we were at 630. The middle of the trend was right here. The middle of the trend is now at 601. So as you can see, we are going south slowly there. And when we hit this support line, you can see that there was a bounce and we rode it all the way to up here at 2 standard deviations and almost 3 before we fell back down again. And if we're going from this line back down to this line is a support line, and it bounced and then we broke through again. So we could roll over to this area. The RSI is still headed south as well. So I will anticipate this to go down and then maybe a bounce off of this green line, and we'll either follow the green line slowly as the baseline or start to cut across if we start to go sideways and then up again. But you can see sell off at resistance, buy in at support. This gap closed to the south side already, and I did not mark out any other gaps ahead of time, so take a look at that. But this is a very gappy ticker anyway, so you're going to find tons of it. I just look for bigger ones is what I try to do. OKLO is the next one. We ended the week at 2354, up 7.24%. To the north side takes us to roughly 2414, 2509. This used to be an old middle of the trend that is now turned into resistance for us. And 2608. To the south side, that is support and the baseline at 2216. So last week we were here making our way down even though we're up. 2020, 1924, and another level of support and a potential buy-in area or a potential stop loss area as well. 1824. Looking left, you can see the bounce here at support, riding all the way up to resistance and then a sell-off, and then busting through support, fell through, and then made our way back up again. But we are nearing this line, and then this is already starting to fall. So watch out for that. And if a ticker is running, don't expect it to continue to run without consolidating. SMR, New Scale Power Corporation, ended the week at 2965, up 5.67%. VWAP is in the blue at 3102, 3137, 3290, 3453. I'm going to delete this line. 2818, 2502, 2341, and roughly 2188. And I talked about price when it was 23. We rode up to resistance. What did people do? They bailed out and then sold off. And then price went back down and then hit this level, which was the daily high, the day's range, I should say, and then the weekly high at 32.30. So congrats. So we went down and then went past that wick line. And now we're back here. Back to reality, and then possibly grinding along to the middle of the trend to consolidate a little bit before making a potential move up, another leg up. What is the 1-year price target now? Nope, They're predicting just a downward action, but I don't think so. Those are your targets to the upside, and always, of course, there is a downside. Did I mark out OKLO? Yes. And one other thing I want to mark out at the end of the week, right there. And still going down. So at the end of the week, which would be Friday the 6th, I'll just mark this out so you'll see what I'm going to do. So here's the middle of the trend. If we continue south, the middle of the trend could take us to 2055 and then the outer band 1666, potentially. Next one is NNE. 2761 is where we ended, up 3.14%. When I was tracking this on the 1st, we were at 1926, so congrats if you bought in at that time. These nuclear tickers have been running since the 52-week low. It's quite a spread. All right, VWAP 2856, 2991, 3165 will take us back to what was once the middle of the trend, which is now turned into resistance, lining up with 3 standard deviations, and then 3349, 2625, 2261, 2084, and $19 to the south side. And then we'll watch out for all of these landmines as well. They are still an open sore, an opened wound that needs to be cauterized, closed out. Not there yet, but we are in a downward pattern. So this one could definitely touch by next week and close as well if we continue to go south within the -2 and 2 standard deviations. And that is now the middle of the trend. And then at the end of the week, it could go to 2436 and then the outer bands here. And when I last looked at the price, did I already do this one? Yeah. Oh, wait. No, this gap to the upside will take us to 3352. And last week we were at 2170 for the beginning of the week, rode up all the way to resistance, fell back down, and then grinding sideways following this line. We're either going to go with this line slowly down or grind sideways if we consolidate. And from the low here, let's just put it on this one, to the high here, that's a 61% return. But we're only up 3.14 for the day. And we are moving farther away from taking out the upper gap here. And finally, the last one, NUKZ. Mark that out. We ended the week at 46.62. Everything is in the green. Up 2.44%. The baseline is 46.79. And targets, they include 48.38, 49.11, 49.95, many levels of support and resistance in between, and 45.15, 44.40, and 43.52, back to where we were previously if we make it to that level. Monday there, let me just mark this out. Sorry, there's a little bug. So at the beginning of the week when I talked about it, we were at 42, made our way, busted through the middle of the trend, hit resistance, fell back down, and then went back up and then fell back down here. So we hit a high there of 46.93. from this level to this wick is a return of 12%. Not too shabby in 1 week. But you got to get in, get up, get out. Because we fell back down, and then now you have to wait for us to possibly grind up back to this level. And then we've got some tickers to the downside. Watch out for that. All right. That is a look at LTBR, OKLO, SMR, NNE, and NUKZ. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great trading day.